What if the moment everything seemed lost was actually the moment everything was being fulfilled? What if the darkness that surrounded Jesus in his arrest was not a sign of defeat, but a step toward victory? And what if true strength is revealed not in resistance, but in surrender? There is a scene that unfolds in silence before chaos breaks in. A garden. Night has fallen. The air is heavy, as if creation itself is holding its breath. Jesus has just finished praying. The weight of what is coming is fully known to him, and yet he does not run. In Gospel of John, chapter 18, verses 1 to 14, we are brought into this moment, the arrest of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. But unlike what we might expect, this is not a scene of confusion or panic. It is a scene of clarity, control, and purpose. Judas arrives, leading a detachment of soldiers and officials. They come with lanterns, torches, and weapons, prepared for resistance, expecting a struggle. But what they encounter is something entirely different. Jesus steps forward. He doesn't hide. He doesn't wait to be discovered. He moves toward them. This detail is easy to overlook, but it changes everything. Jesus is not being chased. He is not being cornered. He is choosing to step into the moment. He asks them a simple question: "Who is it you want?" They answer, "Jesus of Nazareth." And then he responds, "I am he." In that moment, something unexpected happens. They draw back and fall to the ground. Think about that. Armed soldiers, prepared for confrontation, suddenly fall back at the sound of his words. There is authority in his voice, a presence that cannot be ignored, a power that does not need to prove itself. This is not weakness, this is control. Even in the moment of arrest, Jesus is not overpowered. He is not defeated. He is revealing that what is about to happen is not forced upon him, it is chosen. He asks again, "Who is it you want?" Again they say, "Jesus of Nazareth." And he answers, "I told you that I am he. If you are looking for me, then let these men go." This is where his heart is revealed. In the middle of his own arrest, his concern is not for himself, but for his disciples. He ensures their safety. He stands in their place. He directs the situation so that they can walk free. This is more than a moment of protection. It is a picture of something deeper. Substitution. He steps forward so others can step back. He is taken so others can go. This is the pattern that will continue to the cross. As the moment unfolds, one of his disciples reacts. Peter, driven by emotion, draws his sword. He strikes the high priest's servant, cutting off his ear. It is a moment of human instinct: fight back, resist, protect. But Jesus responds immediately. "Put your sword away. Shall I not drink the cup the Father has given me?" This statement shifts the entire perspective. The cup represents what is coming: the suffering, the sacrifice, the weight of sin, the separation. And Jesus acknowledges it clearly. This is not something he is unaware of. This is not something he is avoiding. This is something he is accepting. There is a difference between being forced into something and choosing it. Jesus is choosing. Choosing obedience, choosing purpose, choosing the path set before him. And this challenges how we often respond to difficulty. Our instinct is to resist, to fight against what feels painful, to avoid what feels overwhelming. But Jesus shows another way. Not passive surrender, but intentional alignment. Not giving up, but stepping into purpose, even when it leads through pain. Peter's reaction is understandable. He loves Jesus. He wants to protect him. He believes that action is the solution. But Jesus reveals that not every situation is meant to be fought with force. Some moments require trust. Some paths require surrender. And that is not weakness. It is strength of a different kind. As the soldiers move forward, they arrest Jesus and bind him. The one who spoke and they fell now allows himself to be taken. The one who could call down power chooses silence. The one who has authority over all allows himself to be treated as powerless. This is the paradox. Strength expressed through surrender. Authority expressed through restraint. Power expressed through obedience. Jesus is then led away, first to Annas, the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest. The process begins. The system moves forward, and it all seems to unfold as if control has shifted. But the truth is, nothing is out of place. Nothing is unexpected. Nothing is beyond what Jesus already knew. Earlier, he had spoken of this moment. He had prepared his disciples. He had prayed. And now he walks through it. Not as a victim of circumstance, but as the fulfillment of purpose. This is what makes this moment so powerful. From the outside, it looks like loss. It looks like betrayal, injustice, defeat. But from within it is alignment, it is completion. It is the beginning of something that will change everything. Sometimes in our own lives we experience moments that feel like this. Moments where things fall apart, where control seems lost, where outcomes do not match expectations. And in those moments, it's easy to assume that everything is going wrong. But what if, like this moment, there is more happening beneath the surface? What if what looks like loss is part of a larger purpose? What if what feels like defeat is actually a step towards something greater? This doesn't make the moment easy. The garden was not easy. The arrest was not easy. The path ahead was not easy, but it was meaningful. And that meaning changes how we see it. Jesus knew what was coming, and still he stepped forward. He knew the cost, and still he accepted it. He had the power to stop it, and still he allowed it. Why? Because purpose was greater than comfort. Because obedience was greater than escape. Because the outcome was greater than the moment. This is a perspective that challenges us, because we often measure situations based on how they feel in the moment. If it's painful, we assume it's wrong. If it's difficult, we assume it's not meant for us. But this moment shows that sometimes the most meaningful paths are the hardest ones. Not because pain is the goal, but because purpose is. Another detail that stands out is the calmness of Jesus. There is no panic, no confusion, no desperation. Even as events unfold rapidly, he remains steady, anchored, focused. This kind of calm doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from clarity, from knowing who you are, from knowing why you are here, from knowing what matters. And this is something we can learn from. Because while we may not face the same situation, we do face moments of pressure, uncertainty, and challenge. And in those moments, it's easy to lose focus, to react instead of respond, to let fear take over. But Jesus shows another way, a way of staying grounded, a way of moving with purpose, a way of responding with clarity instead of chaos. As the scene closes, Jesus is in chains, being led away. The disciples are scattered. The night continues, and everything seems to point toward defeat. But this is not the end. This is the turning point. Because what begins in the garden will lead to something that reshapes history. What looks like the collapse of hope will become the foundation of it. And that is the deeper message of this moment. Not everything is as it appears. Not every dark moment is the end. Not every loss is final. Sometimes, the very thing that feels like everything is falling apart is actually the moment everything is being set into place. So if you find yourself in a moment that feels uncertain, painful, or overwhelming, remember this scene. Remember that Jesus stepped forward, not back. Remember that he chose purpose over escape. Remember that even in the darkest moment there was meaning. And that same truth can apply to your life. You may not see the full picture. You may not understand the timing, but that does not mean there is no purpose. It does not mean the story is over. It may just mean you are in a moment that is part of something greater, something still unfolding, something not yet revealed. Hold on to that, because sometimes what looks like an ending is actually the beginning. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share this video with someone who might need this today.